They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him.
Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. It's the most recycled debate in all of sports, yet it never loses its fire. Year after year, the same discussions flare up. Fans flood timelines with stats, analysts compile highlight reels, and social media turns into a war zone of opinions. But when the noise fades, one name still towers above the rest: Michael Jordan. And now, Stephen A. Smith has reached his breaking point. He's done listening to the excuses, the constant spin, and the ongoing campaign from LeBron's camp to
every time LeBron does something, if Jordan wanted to, he would have done it.
I didn't say
if
that.
he's what you said he was.
construct a legacy that, in his view, simply doesn't measure up to Jordan's unmatched greatness. Michael Jordan isn't just the greatest basketball player ever. He's the living definition of excellence. His legacy goes beyond stats and championships. It's rooted in dominance, mindset, and flawless execution under pressure. Yet, every time LeBron James breaks another record, wins a big game, or drops 40 points, social media explodes with GOAT hashtags as if greatness can be reduced to numbers alone. It's become automatic.
Michael Jordan was the first 40-year-old to drop 40. That's number one. LeBron James is in his 22nd season. That was the 78th time in his career he has scored over 40.
Deeply misguided. Because true greatness isn't measured by stats. It's measured by presence, by the fear you command, and by the way the game bends around you. And in that sense, Jordan still stands utterly alone. But Stephen A. keeps hammering home one undeniable truth: Michael Jordan already did it. He did it faster, cleaner, and without ever needing validation from anyone. This video dives into 12 thunderous quotes from Stephen A. Smith that dismantle LeBron's GOAT case piece by piece. Each line lands like a sledgehammer, shattering the myth that LeBron has ever reached the standard Jordan built. If you're tired of recycled arguments and want real clarity instead of fanboy noise, then stick around. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to NBA Showdown, the channel that keeps it raw and real. Michael Jordan doesn't need approval. He owns basketball history. Stephen A. kicks off with two facts that instantly
How many 40-point games did Michael Jordan have? 173.
bury the LeBron is the GOAT narrative. First, Jordan was the first 40-year-old in NBA history to drop 40 points in a single game. That wasn't just scoring, that was defying time itself, bending the limits of age, and proving that true greatness doesn't fade. It's not borrowed or built through longevity. It's eternal. It lives in the DNA. Jordan didn't just leave the game and return once. He did it twice, and both times he came back and dominated with the same mix of elegance and savagery that defined his prime. Meanwhile, LeBron, now in his 22nd season, recently recorded his 78th 40-point game. Impressive at first glance, sure, but when you realize it took him over 2 decades to reach that number, it starts to look less like a mark of dominance and more like a symbol of endurance. That's where Stephen A. Smith's brilliance slices through the noise. The contrast is brutal. Jordan did more in fewer years. He didn't need 2 decades to prove he was the alpha. He was the standard from the moment he stepped onto the court. LeBron, on the other
Right now, anything that Michael Jordan wanted to do, he didn't spend the first 8 years shivering. He didn't have to go to South Beach to learn how to
hand, has stretched his career across multiple eras just to keep his name alive in the conversation. And even with all that time, the numbers still fall short. Jordan's greatness wasn't a slow, steady climb. It was a meteor strike that reshaped basketball forever. LeBron can keep piling up 40-point games if he wants, but the truth remains. When one man made history at age 40, while the other needs year 22 just to keep chasing a ghost he'll never catch, the debate ends right there. Stephen A. isn't hating on
LeBron James. There's only one player we look at and we say definitively we think was better. And that was Michael Jordan.
They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him. Steph Curry hasn't said that about himself. Steph Curry has never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Ray Allen never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Reggie Miller never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Allen Houston never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Nobody called themselves the greatest in anything but that man and his camp.
LeBron, he's just reminding everyone of reality. Michael Jordan didn't need time. He was time. The entire NBA revolved around him. Even at 40 years old, Jordan could still step onto the hardwood and command the court like it was his throne, sending chills down spines and delivering performances that felt nothing short of immortal. That's greatness that goes beyond numbers, beyond stats, beyond eras. It's the kind of legacy that doesn't fade with age, it defines it. And then, Stephen A. drops his most devastating hammer, the one stat that completely obliterates the debate and leaves no room for argument. Michael Jordan played 7 fewer seasons than LeBron James and still recorded an astounding 173 games with 40 or more points. Let that sink in. In just 15 seasons, including 2 comeback years when he was shaking off the rust, Jordan built a legacy of pure dominance. He didn't just outscore opponents. He dismantled them with ruthless efficiency and a killer instinct that turned every matchup into psychological warfare. Meanwhile, LeBron, armed with science-driven recovery, elite training, advanced nutrition, and a career stretched across 2 decades, still trails behind Jordan.
All I know is your man got 7 more years in the league and still chasing Jordan. 7 more years. He don't even have more
in 40-point performances. That fact alone tells the whole story. LeBron has spent his entire career chasing a ghost he can't catch. Even with more time, more minutes, and more possessions, he couldn't replicate Jordan's relentless destruction. Jordan didn't just play basketball, he redefined greatness itself. As Stephen A. Smith drives home, the numbers don't lie. Jordan did more in less time, and he did it in an era of brutal defense, legal hand-checking, and physical fouls that actually hurt. LeBron, for all his greatness, has thrived in a softer, more protected game, with every modern advantage at his disposal, and yet he still hasn't touched what Jordan built in a tougher
league long enough that I was in college. And still, he ain't catch Jordan.
Still get him there.
more unforgiving era. People love to spin LeBron's longevity as a weapon in the debate, but the truth is simple. Longevity isn't dominance, it's endurance. And endurance alone has never made anyone the GOAT. Longevity means LeBron James needed extra years just to enter the GOAT conversation, and even after stretching his career across 2 decades, he's still falling short. Michael Jordan's 173 games with 40 or more points in far fewer seasons isn't just a stat, it's a statement. It's a slap in the face to anyone claiming LeBron has ever surpassed him. Then Stephen A. Smith exposes one of the harshest truths about LeBron's career. He spent his first 8 years underachieving. Jordan didn't need training wheels. He didn't need time to figure it out. And he definitely didn't need to form a super team in South.
Can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he only has. Barry Bonds never won a World Series. So. You can't sit here and tell me that.
Beach just to learn how to win. From day one, Jordan was different. He walked into the NBA like a storm, took a struggling Chicago Bulls franchise, and turned it into a dynasty. He didn't follow greatness, he created it. LeBron had to leave Cleveland, join forces with 2 other All-Stars, and learn how to win only after failing to do it alone. That's not greatness, that's tutoring. Stephen A. isn't just talking about rings, he's talking about mindset. Michael Jordan was great the instant his sneakers hit.
Every time LeBron does something, if Jordan wanted to, he would have done it.
I didn't say
if
that.
he's what you said he was.
The hardwood. LeBron, despite all the hype, needed mentorship, structure, and a pre-built blueprint before becoming the king the media crowned him to be. Jordan forged his legacy through fire, pure, relentless dominance. LeBron, on the other hand, built his through alliances and strategy. Yet people still try to rank them side by side. It's absurd. True greatness isn't defined by how you finish, it's defined by how you enter the arena. Jordan walked in, claimed the crown, and never let it slip. LeBron had to borrow his, and that difference isn't just about pride. It's about legacy. Jordan created the model, LeBron is simply the product of it. Then came Shannon. Shannon Sharpe's question was built on a false idea, that Michael Jordan needed to follow LeBron James's path to match him. But Stephen A. Smith flipped that logic on its head. Jordan's career wasn't about volume or longevity, It was about pure, unfiltered dominance compressed into a ruthless window of time. He captured 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, and never lost on the biggest stage. That's perfection under pressure. Jordan didn't need to make headlines in year 21 or manipulate narratives to stay relevant. His game spoke louder than any PR campaign ever could. What Shannon missed was simple. Jordan already did everything that mattered. He didn't play the longevity game because he didn't have to. He walked away from basketball at the top, twice. And when he returned at 40 and casually dropped 40 points, it wasn't about proving anything new. It was a reminder that true greatness never fades. The idea that Jordan didn't do what LeBron is doing now, so LeBron must be greater for doing it, is laughable. Stephen A. dismantled that logic, exposing how far LeBron's fans have to stretch just to keep him in the conversation. The truth is, LeBron is still chasing a ghost, while Jordan became one long ago. Stephen A.'s clapback to Shannon was short but devastating. LeBron James has had 7 more years in the league than Michael Jordan, and he's still chasing the crown. That one line crushed the debate. LeBron has had all the advantages. More time, more games, better technology, advanced recovery, and stacked rosters. Yet he still hasn't matched what Jordan achieved in a tighter window. Longevity should be the cherry on top, not the entire cake. But for LeBron, longevity is the only thing keeping him in the GOAT argument. Jordan conquered the NBA in just 15 seasons, and that includes 2 years away from the game and 2 more during his late career comeback. He didn't need 20 years to prove anything. He wrote the story, sealed the book, and walked away while still holding the pen. Stephen A.'s bottom line cut deep. You can run from the facts, but the facts always catch up. LeBron has been chasing a legacy he could never build. And the saddest part? He's had more than enough time. If he were truly greater, he'd already have more rings, more defining moments, and more magic. Instead, 2 decades in, he's still trying to validate his career. Jordan never asked for validation. He was the validation. LeBron's legacy, when stripped down, is built on trying. And that alone proves Jordan did it cleaner, faster, and with finality. Stephen A. even joked, LeBron's been in the league longer than I was in college, and he still hasn't caught Jordan. That's when the tone shifted from analysis to ridicule. LeBron fans love to hype his durability, numbers, and consistency, but what does it say when a man's had over 20 years to surpass someone who did it all in barely over a decade, and still hasn't been crowned the undisputed best? It says everything. LeBron's longevity isn't a weapon, it's a smokescreen. Jordan's greatness didn't need decades. It struck like lightning and never faded. LeBron's career, for all its highs, is marked by finals losses, controversial exits, defensive lapses, and constant narrative shifts to keep the GOAT dream alive. Jordan's career, by contrast, was surgical, clean, precise, legendary. 6 trips to the finals. 6 championships. 6 finals MVPs. End of story. Meanwhile, LeBron's storylines have changed more than a daytime soap opera. From chasing rings, to chasing stats, to redefining greatness altogether. Stephen A. laughed at the absurdity of it. Because if you have to keep rewriting the definition of greatness just to fit yourself into it, you were never part of that definition to begin with. Jordan didn't chase greatness, he defined it. LeBron's still searching for it. Stephen A. even mocked the desperation surrounding LeBron's legacy. Everybody already recognizes LeBron as one of the top 3 players in history. What more do you want? A diaper and a bib? It was savage, but accurate. LeBron's camp constantly begs for recognition that Jordan never needed. Stephen A. wasn't denying LeBron's greatness, he acknowledged he's top 3 all-time. But greatness becomes embarrassing when it demands applause. LeBron's career has turned into one long campaign trail, every milestone spun into a press release, every record compared to Jordan. Jordan didn't need the noise. His dominance made the debate unnecessary. LeBron's greatness, by contrast, needs constant justification, constant spin, and endless chatter to stay relevant. Stephen A. summed it up perfectly. There's only one player in NBA history we compare LeBron to, Michael Jordan. That alone tells you who the true king is. The fact that Jordan is the measuring stick everyone else chases proves who sits on the throne. If LeBron had truly passed him, this debate wouldn't still exist, but it does. And it always will. Jordan's resume is built on domination. LeBron's is built on endurance. One ruled. The other survived. And that's the difference. Stephen A. pointed out that no other legend, not Kobe, Kareem, Russell, Duncan, or Magic, ever needed to declare their greatness. They let their work speak for itself. LeBron and his camp, however, can't stop proclaiming it, which makes his legacy feel forced and insecure. Jordan's greatness was silent, earned through dominance. LeBron's has to be shouted through headlines. That's why, no matter how long he plays or how many records he breaks, his legacy still feels incomplete. Because true greatness doesn't beg, it is. Michael Jordan never said he was the greatest. The world did. LeBron told the world he was the greatest, and the world still isn't convinced. That's the difference between a legend who defined the game and one who's still trying to convince it. Stephen A. closed with a truth bomb that ended the conversation. LeBron James might be the only all-time great who's had to declare himself the GOAT, and that's the problem. If you have to say it, it's probably not true. Jordan didn't campaign for his crown. He earned it through pressure, performance, and perfection. LeBron has had more years, more resources, and more help, and still can't touch what Jordan built in half the time. So the next time someone calls LeBron the GOAT, remember Stephen A.'s words. He's had 7 more years, every advantage, and every opportunity, and still couldn't catch him. Because when it comes to basketball's throne, there's only one true king. His name is Michael Jordan.